As you know, there are many theories about where humanity came from or how it originated. One of the most prominent among them is the theory of evolution. Evolution theory can be briefly described as the process by which a living being adapts to its environment over millions of years, evolving into a completely different organism from its original form. When this theory is accepted as true, one of the most frequently asked questions is, if humanity evolved from apes over millions of years, why aren't the apes we see today evolving into humans? Let's take a closer look. Evolution dates back billions of years. Billions of years ago, single-celled organisms began living on Earth. Over the course of millions, even billions of years, they spread to different regions and evolved into plants, insects, fish, and many other types of living beings. These evolved creatures then reproduced, giving rise to different species. This process continued as a chain reaction, ultimately forming the population of living beings we see on Earth today. Moreover, throughout these billions of years of evolution, many species emerged, just as many went extinct. In fact, all the living beings on our planet today, plants, insects, fish, reptiles, and so on, constitute only 0.01% of all the species that have ever existed. In other words, 99.9% of all the species that have ever existed have gone extinct. All species that have existed, currently exist, or will exist in the future are fundamentally related to one another. You can think of this as a family tree. For example, with you, your parents, your uncles, aunts, their children, and their children's children. The creatures involved in evolution can also be adapted to such a kinship chain. This common ancestry of organisms has been scientifically proven. Scientists working on this subject have analyzed the genetic, morphological, physiological, anatomical, behavioral, gametic, embryological, and many other characteristics of various organisms throughout their evolutionary history. They have found that all organisms trace back to the same historical origins. In other words, if you examine the oldest origins of two entirely different organisms today, you'll see they share a common ancestor. The family tree of humanity and apes is as follows: Proto-Primates, followed by monkeys, then gibbons, orangutans, gorillas, bonobos, chimpanzees, and finally, the first humans. However, the early humans who appeared were very different from modern humans. Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and Homo neanderthalensis are examples of different human species. The earliest humans didn't know how to make fire, use tools, make clothes, or even communicate. Over time, these intelligent life forms developed these skills, learning to make fire, communicate, hunt, use tools, and eventually produce them. Approximately 300,000 years ago, the ancestors of modern humans appeared. It's believed that humanity first emerged in Africa and later migrated to different regions, reproducing in these new lands. Our closest relatives among human species were the Neanderthals. One of their most notable characteristics, making them very similar to us, was their highly social nature and the presence of familial bonds and rituals similar to ours. Neanderthals, like modern humans, had parent-child relationships. They had their own languages and tools. Evidence suggesting they had religious beliefs comes from their practice of burying their dead with personal belongings, implying they believed in an afterlife. Additionally, when the first Homo sapiens emerged, there was still a significant Neanderthal population. Research and remains indicate that these two human species interacted and even interbred. However, Neanderthals couldn't adapt to changing climatic and environmental conditions and eventually went extinct. Neanderthals were much shorter in stature compared to us, but were far superior in terms of muscle strength. Homo sapiens, on the other hand, survived by adapting to the new world using their intelligence and reasoning abilities. The main disadvantage of Neanderthals was their limited cognitive abilities compared to us. Today, our closest relatives on Earth are the great apes, with chimpanzees being the closest, followed by gorillas, orangutans, and gibbons. As mentioned earlier, species have been evolving for millions of years. Some of these evolutionary paths have failed, leading to extinction, while others have survived to the present day. Unfortunately, there are no other human species today. However, who knows what the future holds? Perhaps millions of years from now, Earth will be home to 2, 3, 4, or even 5 different human species. It's essential to understand that each organism in the evolutionary tree has a common ancestor with another. But this common ancestor is not a combination of the two. It can have entirely different characteristics. For example, humans and bananas share a common ancestor, but countless intermediate and primary species have gone extinct between then and now. This makes it hard to comprehend how humans and bananas can share a common ancestor, but scientifically, it's true. In recent history, our closest relatives, chimpanzees, were once referred to as great apes rather than just monkeys, because their behaviors closely resembled those of early humans. For instance, in zoos and research laboratories, chimpanzees have been observed using tools to make their lives easier when provided with the necessary conditions. However, due to societal and religious pressures, there has been a reluctance to acknowledge the similarities between humans and chimpanzees. Today, many scientists, unfazed by public opinion, have begun to openly assert that humans are a type of ape. Now, let's return to our main question. If humanity evolved from apes, why aren't today's chimpanzees and apes evolving into creatures like us? The fundamental error lies in the question itself. Humanity did not evolve from apes, but shares common ancestors with them. If we trace back far enough, we would reach our small, rodent-like ancestors from 65 million years ago, which are also the ancestors of all mammals. In short, all living beings have common ancestors. Modern chimpanzees do not need to evolve into humans, because evolution occurs in response to environmental pressures and the need for survival. From early humans onward, humans underwent genetic and physical changes to adapt to their environment, leading to the modern form we recognize today. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and leave comments to support us. Help our channel grow. Never stray from the path of science.